The San Francisco Chronicle declares that Bay Area home prices hit another record high in October. But can this momentum be sustained throughout the rest of 2020 and into 2021? Coming up on the Silicon Valley Snapshot. This is Danny Gould with the Selling Silicon Valley Group. Welcome everyone to another Silicon Valley Market Snapshot for the first week here in December of 2020. It's the home stretch, everyone. We're almost there. And before we get into the data and before we get into the numbers here, if you are a home buyer in today's marketplace and you are looking for a comprehensive data set very similar to what you're seeing on today's video, go ahead and text the word data plus the area or the zip code or the neighborhood that you're looking in. We'll get you a comprehensive data set that will help you make the most educated decision possible. And if you are a home seller in today's marketplace and you are looking for a comprehensive guide to help you price your property, because right now pricing strategies matter now more than ever, go ahead and text the word data plus your property address, and we will get you a robust, even more robust marketing data set. Wow. Data set for your property. Anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Wow, have not had enough coffee today, clearly. And very interesting, you know, if you've been keeping up with the news, and obviously if you watch my videos, you'll know that I suggest that everyone be very careful with the news that they read, because everything is a little bit tainted nowadays. But the San Francisco Chronicle came out with a very interesting article. Bay Area home prices hit another record and sales surged in October. This was just published about a week before Thanksgiving. Bay Area single-family home prices hit another record high in October. Sales were up 19% over last year, defying the usual slowdown that hits the real estate market in the fall, according to CAR, the California Association of Realtors. Very interesting, later on in the article, the median home price up 3.8% in the Bay Area. That's a hefty number. So all things considered, when we look at what's happened over the last 8 months, I mean, no one could have predicted that the market would be in such good a shape, you know, after what was essentially a complete economic shutdown for 2 months, right? For 2 months, we had a complete economic shutdown, and yet the housing market has overcome. And if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that this is not revolutionary, or this is not novel information. But the question remains, will this momentum sustain into, you know, the winter months here of 2020 into 2021? And really, it's the tale of three different areas here in the Bay Area. There's the Mid-Peninsula into Santa Clara County and South County, which is San Benito County. Then we move into the northern part, which is San Francisco, right? And then we have the East Bay markets in Contra, Costa, and Alameda County. And all three different areas are behaving slightly differently. So what we want to do is dissect the numbers and kind of figure out what's going on, what we can expect reasonably here in the latter part, well, now in December of 2020, heading into 2021. So first up here is the Santa Clara County numbers. And it's interesting to note, first of all, that the acceleration of the market right now is, or that the inventory levels in December are much higher than we were accustomed to seeing at the same time last year in December. Throughout the first 8 days in December here, we're seeing an 81% increase to be exact, in active inventory. But that number is matched almost in tandem with pending sales of 83% increase in pending sales. So even though the storyline has been that the inventory levels are suppressed, and that is what's driving the marketplace. Well, right now we're seeing in Santa Clara County, at least, that the inventory levels are increasing rather dramatically, and the pending sales are keeping up. That is good news if you're a home seller. Now, will that momentum be sustained? Obviously, it's too early to tell, right? We're at the beginning of the month. Lots A lot of things can happen between now and the end of the month because we all know what's happening in the latter part of December, right? It's the holidays, it's Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, right? And all the other holidays that occur during that time. So still a little too early to tell, but it is interesting that the inventory levels are dramatically higher than we're accustomed to experiencing in Santa Clara County when we look back a year ago. Now, if we look at the numbers in November and see how they shape up versus October's numbers, we'll see that in November we had an 18 or 19% decrease in inventory levels from October to November. So that typical slowdown that we're accustomed to seeing. Pendings also went down 19%, which means that same environment that caused those record highs in October, per the San Francisco Chronicle, they are still here in November. The same ratios of sellers to buyers is present. So the marketplace should not and did not lose any momentum in November. And now it appears as if it's not going to lose any momentum here in December, even though we're seeing higher than normal inventory levels in Santa Clara County. Fascinating. Moving on to San Mateo County, a little bit different situation where the inventory levels are, again, far outpacing what we're accustomed to seeing at this time. 141% increase month to date versus this same time last year. So the acceleration is a lot higher. Conversely, the pending sales are up, but only 20%. So this is definitely something to pay attention to, especially if you're a home seller in San Mateo County, because should these conditions continue throughout December and into January, we're going to start to see the tides shift a little bit. That being said, in November, the market versus what it was in October is still relatively equal, with an 18.5% decrease in inventory levels and a 17.8% decrease in pending activity. So again, that net effect is that strong seller's market in November is still, or in October, was still present in November, just in a smaller amount, but the ratio's still the same. Moving on to San Benito County. San Benito County is a slightly different beast, right? So it's almost like it's four sections here. You can loop San Benito County really into what's going on in Alameda and Contra Costa County. So a little foreshadowing there. But San Benito County, we're experiencing what is way more active levels of pending sales than we're accustomed to seeing. Month to date this year, we are up 333% in pending sales within the first 8 days of the month, versus 46% decrease in active inventory. So huge decrease in inventory levels and even more drastic increase in pending sales. Now, if you look and really study those numbers, we're talking 3 sales versus 13 sales. So still statistically not enough data to give us a clear-cut picture of what's going on in that county, but it's no secret for the last 6 months, San Benito County has been a strong seller's market, and these numbers are corroborating it. Even in the November versus October of this year, we're seeing a 23% decrease in inventory and only an 18% decrease in pending sales. So still an even stronger market from October into November, ratio-wise. And so definitely something to pay attention to, and we'll go into it more with the Alameda and Contra Costa County numbers. Now, flipping over into San Francisco County, we won't spend too much time with San Francisco because we spent a lot of time a few weeks ago on that marketplace, but just unfortunately, if you're a home seller in San Francisco right now, is not the greatest time, especially if you're trying to sell a condo or a townhome, co-op, TIC. You know, this is the market that's really hurting the most, and you could even see it here with the change versus November of this year versus November of last year. 112% increase in active inventory and only a 40% increase in pending sales. So the market is not keeping up, and even the market last year at this time in San Francisco wasn't necessarily the strongest market San Francisco's ever seen, and it's weakened tremendously since then. So obviously, if you're a home seller in San Francisco, this is not music to your ears. But if you're a buyer that's thinking or is teetering with the idea or toying with the idea of buying in San Francisco, go out, get yourself an early Christmas present, because really now is the time to buy in that market. Moving on to Contra Costa County, this is where it really starts to get interesting. A 24% increase, or decrease rather, in inventory levels from November to October, only a 21% decrease in pending sales. So again, that net effect, yes, there's less sales occurring overall in Contra Costa County, but that really competitive environment is still there. Now, when you look at what's going on this in November of this year versus November of last year, that's where it really starts to get interesting. A 34% decrease in inventory levels within 1 year, and a 32% increase in pending sales. That net effect is practically a 70% increase in demand. When you think about it, right? That is how competitive the marketplace has become in Contra Costa County. And the market is not even slowing down from an inventory perspective, we're not seeing what we're seeing in Santa Clara County with a sharp increase in demand, a sharp increase in supply. We're only seeing a sharp increase in demand. So we're in Santa Clara County, demand is keeping up with the increase in inventory levels. Here in Contra Costa County, inventory levels are flush, they're steady, and pendings continue to rise. So the marketplace is even more competitive in Contra Costa County, and this has been the case for some time. And what the effect, or what is causing this, what's driving this, these markets, Alameda County, Contra Costa County, San Benito County, to experience this, is the work from home phenomenon, right? We can't stress it enough. It makes perfect sense. Everyone's moving out of the congested areas here in the Bay Area, in the Mid Peninsula, in San Francisco, and they're moving to where they can, where there's more space and more house for less money, right? More land, more house, less money, fancier house, and better schools in a lot of cases too. So there are too many positives for home buyers to neglect now. There are too many reasons to buy in those marketplaces now that the commute is no longer an issue. I mean, people were sacrificing so much for commute, right? And we're seeing that in real time, where people are saying, you know what? It's okay. We don't need to commute now for the next couple of years. Let's move over there. It will be interesting to see when that day comes, right? If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I'm not so bullish on this idea that we're going to work from home forever, that, it's work from home for life. Like, there will be incentives for coming back to the workplace. Let's see how the market reacts to that. It'll be very interesting. Now, moving over to Alameda County, last county. Similar effect here in Alameda County as Santa Clara County, where there is a sharp increase in inventory levels month to date, but the pending sales are keeping pace with that. 66.7% increase in for sale inventory, 64.7% increase in pending sales and demand, meaning that the marketplace right now, there's a lot more inventory than we're accustomed to seeing in Alameda County, right? Very similarly to Santa Clara County, however, we are seeing that all that additional inventory be just gobbled up by the marketplace. There is this insatiable appetite right now for housing in these marketplaces. And again, very similarly, where the San Francisco Chronicle points out that October was an incredible month for housing, we're seeing just the same net effect, a 21% decrease in for sale inventory and a 15% decrease in pending sales, meaning that it's even more drastic. It's even more of a seller's market in November than it was in October, the net effect. And if you guys have questions about what that means, that net effect, go ahead and comment down below. I'm kind of using that term very, I'm using that term and I want to make sure that everyone understands it. So go ahead and leave a comment down below if you don't understand what I mean. But this data is indicative of what's to come. I just saw this quote this morning. Danielle, Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com. While home sales are expected to lose some momentum over the last months of 2020, yes, there are less home sales occurring in a lot of the marketplaces here. The shallower than normal seasonal slowdown creates a higher base of activity leading into 2021 that is roughly maintained for the first half of the year. As vaccines for the coronavirus become more broadly available to the public and economic growth reflects the resumption of more normal patterns of consumer spending, home sales gain even more in the second half of the year. Whether you agree with that or not, the first part is very obvious at this point. It is a shallower than normal seasonal slowdown, and that is going to create, that is momentum that will be felt throughout January, a momentum that hasn't been felt for quite some time because generally speaking in Silicon Valley, we have to wait until after Super Bowl Sunday to see that momentum really start to kick in. I think we might see it as soon as January 1st or January 2nd. That is how I believe this is going to play out. Fewer people are going to take their home. Fewer people are going to take off for the holidays. Obviously, like right now, we're shelter is kind of shelter in place 2.0. So, a lot of the reasons why people step out of the marketplace in the months of December and January are no longer present. That will continue to drive the market at a much higher than normal pace that we're accustomed to seeing in the winter months, and I expect that to translate into a much frothier first Q1, a much frothier Q1 in 2021 than we're accustomed to seeing.
You own a home, but you want to buy a new one. But before you can do that, you need to sell your current home. The Selling Silicon Valley Group makes it easy. We will get you an all-cash offer for your current home to take it off your hands and give you the money to buy your new home. You move when you're ready. We don't really need your house, so we'll put it on the market and work to sell it for full market value at the highest possible price. The best part is, if and when the home sells for more than what we paid you, we send you a check with the difference. You can get the full market value of your old home, and you get to move into your dream home on your schedule by yourself without the hassle, with the Selling Silicon Valley Group's exclusive trade-in program.
That's all that we have for today. Again, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace and you're looking for data sets that are very similar to what I just shared today, go ahead and text the word data plus the area or the zip code or the neighborhood that you're looking in. We'll get you that data set. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace and you're looking for a comprehensive data set to help you price your property, go ahead and text the word data plus your property address, and we will get you a robust data set, even more intricate than what you're seeing on today's videos. So anyways, guys, this is Danny Gould with the Selling Silicon Valley Group, and I will catch all of you in the next video.